Hello, and thank you very much for listening to this episode of the Billy Newman Photo Podcast. My name is Billy Newman.
And I'm Marina Hansen.
And tonight we are outside in Maui, Hawaii, and we are recording in the field. We've got kind of a smaller rig set up since we've moved to the island, so some of the studio stuff is kind of put aside right now. But we're recording kind of straight into the camera with like a microphone that's kind of hooked off of that for us to record. You use like the mic for like video recording stuff. It's kind of a cool one. It's this Rode video mic that we've hooked up. It's like the hot shoe on our 5D Mark III, and then we've got it faced kind of back toward us, so we can sort of monitor the audio, and then we can hang out here together and do some podcasting together. But it's kind of fun. How are you doing, Marina?
Good, and it is fun. I like this setup.
Yeah, it's a lot less stuff than what we had going before, but it's kind of fun. We can see that it's working and stuff, but you can probably hear the bugs behind us too, like the crickets and what is it, like a beetle that makes that sound? That little buzzing sound?
I think so.
Yeah, I've always been kind of curious about those little sounds. But yeah, you could hear them in the Night Sky podcast we recorded last week. It was kind of fun hearing some of the environmental sounds that were around. But yeah, we're just off the side of the road up near like a coffee plantation. Is it a plantation for that or a farm? I'm not really sure how it goes, but I think it's sugarcane just off the way over here.
Yeah, it's sugarcane off in one direction, and I think it's a coffee plantation.
Yeah, it's kind of cool, but it's just maybe a few blocks outside of town, which I guess is just one road that's by a string of resorts in the the western Maui area. And it's a nice spot. It's cool kind of getting up this high, but you can kind of look back down toward the shoreline, so you can see the row of resorts from here. And then you can, I guess, see, if it were daytime, you could see like the ocean out there, and then like which island is that? Molokai?
I think that this one here is Molokai.
Yeah, we'd see Molokai up there, and then we would see Lanai over there. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out kind of our arrangement now. But yeah, so if you're noticing by the geography I'm trying to talk about, we have moved from Oregon now to Maui, Hawaii, which has been pretty interesting. And so we've now been here, I think, just 1 month, right?
Yeah.
We flew out
1 month yesterday.
Whoa.
I think the 27th is when we got here.
Yeah, wow. So yeah, we flew in September 27th of 2018, and we took off from Eugene, Oregon. We left our cool little apartment. We packed up all our stuff, packed up our cool outlet studio, and we moved it on over here to a place in Hawaii over here on the west side. So it seems like we're in a pretty cool area of the island to live in. And we had taken jobs to work as creative directors over here for a company that runs photography studios at different resorts. And so a lot of what we're occupied with right now is like a different type of photography, in a sense, I guess, maybe than some of the stuff that we had talked about before, like where we were doing like commercial work, like where I was working with the RVs and the camping, outdoor adventure tourism stuff. And now we're doing a lot of stuff that's like around taking portraits of families and taking portraits of groups and stuff. And it's cool kind of doing that sort of business and sort of changing it up a little bit. We had done like the wedding stuff before a lot. And I guess we talked about the wedding stuff on the podcast a good bit in the past too. But yeah, it's kind of fun having this new experience and sort of doing something that's a little different than the photography stuff we've done in the past.
It is. It's been cool. It's a neat experience working with a studio and sort of running a studio and having a small team of photographers.
Yeah, I think that's really cool, kind of learning how to run a studio, learning how to book clients and work with clients, and like trying to go through sort of just all of the stuff that's sort of associated with the photography business around and outside of taking the pictures. And so it's cool kind of working with a handful of people. And it's a great spot to sort of learn how to do that here in Maui. And it seems like there's probably a lot of business for that sort of thing with everybody kind of coming into vacation. But we're set up along that bank of like hotels and resorts that we see down there by the shore. And it's really fun, sort of, I don't know, going to work at a resort. And then taking your lunch break over on the beach in Hawaii. It's like, man, no, I shouldn't really complain. Getting to do that. I think I just inhaled a mosquito.
Yuck. Only downside to outdoor studio.
That's the studio we're in now.
I'll take it.
But yeah, it's cool. It's cool being out here. So yeah, we're hanging out outside at night, and I think we're gonna try and record part of a night sky podcast after this. We're getting back into trying to talk about a lot of the astronomy stuff that we're interested in, and that was really fun. We're kind of going through talking about mosquitoes coming back. We were trying to figure out, I guess, some of the stuff that we're going to talk about tonight, but it's really cool because we go out here to this coffee plantation area, and we get to sort of check out the stuff above us, or, we get to look up and just kind of look at the sky and look at the constellations, and it seems like a better base of how to sort of set up an astronomy podcast. That's kind of fun. But, you guys can tune into that later if you want to check it out at the Night Sky Podcast. I think you can find it. But for the photo podcast, okay. But for the photo podcast, things I was thinking about talking about was, I guess, just a little bit of what we just covered, kind of moving to Hawaii, setting up with new photo jobs that are here. And then we should talk about some of the cool photo goals or, things around photography that we want to do while we're here on the island. What do you want to talk about with that? I thought it was cool that we got to go out and take those photographs in the evening a couple days ago, like where we went out to a different location and took some pictures.
Yeah, it's really cool. Getting to check out the little back roads around here, find the new mountain and hill spots, kind of like we would back in Oregon. Go out on the road and find the cool natural areas. Yeah,
I'm really liking that too. One thing that I'm noticing definitely as a change, like being just on the island here, is really, I guess it's a good thing in a sense, but it's like how little of it is developed in a way. Or like there's a lot of like mountainous area out here, but I think a lot of that's like closed off. Like there's really no roads to it, and there's no way to get out there. And a lot of the roads go to like residential areas that have already been developed in the past. Or like it just goes to someone's house over there. It isn't really like a Forest Service road system where you just go roam around on the Forest Service roads like you would in the National Forest of Oregon or the state forest of Oregon that are out there. So it's a different kind of system. It's interesting. But
it is pretty different in that regard. Lots of stuff to still get out and find though. We've been pretty confined to the west side of the island since we moved here because we've been busy with our studio work. But now that we're sort of settled into our regular schedules, I think we're going to be trying to plan our weekends out to get out to the other parts of the island more often.
We are adjusting to our regular schedules. It seems like a little bit better than we had just with the hecticness that goes into the move from Eugene to Maui, and then now being in Maui and kind of settling in and figuring out like where you get food, how you get to work, how you get all your stuff kind of settled in. So we're sort of sorting some of that out finally. But it's been cool being in Maui, and yeah, we're definitely enjoying it. And kind of the shift into fall is sort of weird because back home in Oregon, I think they're shifting into November here pretty soon. Like we're coming up onto Halloween, and then to November, and then pretty quickly into the Thanksgiving and Christmas vibe that's going on. And here on the island, we haven't really experienced, that type of seasonal change that we would have expected at the end of September and as you go into October. I think we were just barely starting to come into that feeling, even though it was so hectic. I was just barely noticing. Well, it was obviously clear that it was September, it was fall, but we were just finally getting into that zone where it was like, oh, wow, it's going to be fall here soon. It's going to be October in a couple days.
Yeah.
And it's going to be different. It's going to be a different season. So, yeah, we left just at that time that the season was really kicking into full gear. I heard that back in Oregon, it was like a beautiful fall. They had like a bunch of clear days, a bunch of nice weather where they were able to kind of go out, but it just had that crisp sort of fall feel to it. So, I'm jealous.
That's what I've been hearing too. Some of my clients that I photographed just a couple days ago were visiting from Portland, funny enough.
Whoa.
And they were telling me that it had been a beautiful fall, and it was just now sort of starting to be more rainy.
Yeah.
Like Oregon, fall and winter.
Yeah, I'd heard that the storms were just starting to come in. I was talking to some family and stuff, and they were saying that it's sort of just now shifting over into a little bit more of that rainy weather that you would be sort of expecting of. But I'm sure everybody in Oregon's going to be jealous of us being here in Hawaii. But in a small way, I do kind of miss that fall feeling,
I do too.
Yeah.
I know we've only been here for a month, but I actually miss it a lot.
Yeah.
Not that I don't enjoy and very, very much appreciate this awesome tropical weather, but it is sort of strange because you really don't feel the time of year that it is in the same way. Even with the weather changes that do happen,
Right.
it's really a very different experience. And
Yeah.
there are some decorations and things about, but it really doesn't feel like the end of October here. And
No pumpkins.
I know, I've seen a couple of those mini ones in some of the grocery stores.
Yeah.
But yeah, really not feeling like Halloween is in a couple days.
It feels like a different kind of Halloween, that's for sure. Were we on the road for one where we were? Well, that was a pretty wet time. Yeah, we were in San Francisco.
Oh, we were in San Francisco.
Right? Yeah, when we were on one of our trips.
2012.
Yeah, 2012. And now, was it the Giants in San Francisco? Won the World Series.
Yeah.
And then they had like that parade downtown. They broke glass everywhere and all that. Yeah,
so much glass.
Yeah, that's what we were going through a few years back. But yeah, so I was thinking like later we had gotten down to like Nevada and then into Arizona, and that was a lot different. Or like it was back to warm and back to kind of a sort of summer kind of weather. But it's definitely different here. It was still very much fall and freezing temperatures for a good bit of November, like when we went to Yosemite and through a bunch of that area.
Right.
So, yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was snowing.
It was nice in Arizona and in like Las Vegas when we got there. It was like still pretty warm at like the end of November. But that's quite a bit different than what it seems like it is here in Maui on the island. So yeah, it's been interesting kind of getting used to the season. But I miss I've seen a bunch of people out on the high desert, the Oregon high desert and stuff. And I'm like, oh man, I miss my fall camping trip out there. Like as the aspen trees, the birch start to. Is it birch or aspen out there?
I think that there might be both.
It could be. Yeah.
I think it
know
depends on the area.
They're different, right? I don't know. But I miss that area of Eastern Oregon, going out to like the Warner Rim Plush area, or just even out to like Bend and a little east of there, going to some of the high desert stuff that's out there in the fall. I think that's always like one of the most fun times to be out there.
That's a really beautiful time to be out there. I was just going through, I've been reorganizing my photo archive, and I was just moving some files over, and I was looking at photos from a few falls back when we were in the Steen Mountains.
Yeah.
And we got all of those really beautiful photos of the, I think, birch trees out there. But again, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, a really gorgeous time to be out there.
Yeah, I had such a blast being out there. I was looking at some of those. Well, someone on Instagram, as I'd come through, was like, did something up on the Steens, I think maybe like a week ago or something like that. And I saw just like a couple real brief pictures. I was like, oh man, the Steens in October and fall and stuff. It's probably really cold there by now. We went there in like early September, and it was already definitely heavy onset fall in the higher elevations of the Steens once you get out to that area, because the Steens rise up to like 9,500 feet or so by the summit. So a lot of that area, as you get up onto the plateau, or like as the land starts to kind of lift up that rise, you're easily at 6,000 feet when you start, and then you move pretty quickly up into the 6,000, 7,000, and 8,000 feet area. And by September, you're in the freezing range in that temperate zone that's like getting pretty cold at night. So like those aspen and birch, whatever they are, they're definitely like in that part where they're having their colors change quite a bit. So it was really pretty good to see that back when we got to. But yeah, I was kind of inspired by that. I've seen like a bunch of people like on their hunting trips and stuff too, like as they're going out yeah, and it's cool like seeing that. But I'm just looking at all this like high desert terrain and like all this fall terrain stuff that's out there, and I'm thinking, oh man, I want to be out there taking pictures. But I miss it a bit. But really, yeah, it's so fun being out here in Hawaii and kind of getting to sort of extend our summer a couple months. I think it's pretty fun getting to do that. Ooh, here comes a car up that road. But yeah, while we were, or I was thinking about that, we have like a couple friends that are over on the Big Island now. Hey, Carl. Yeah, we had a couple of friends come over to the Big Island, so we're not able to like, I guess, hop islands quite yet. But yeah, so they're over there. I saw some stuff of them like zip lining and stuff.
Oh, I saw that too. That looked like so much fun.
I sent them a message back of me working out my employee schedule for the week. I was thinking, yeah, Hawaii. Shoot, I want to be doing that. I want to go ziplining. And then I think in a couple weeks we have another set of friends that are doing a trip out to Kauai, which sounds like it'd be really cool too.
Oh, that's right, we do. Yeah, they're coming in November.
Yeah. So sometime in November they were coming out, but I thought, oh man, that's really cool. We're probably not going to be able to make it over there either.
Too busy.
Yeah, Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's like it's pretty busy. We're pretty occupied. It seems like a lot of the time, but it's fun being on the island. It's cool, kind of getting around a little bit. But you start to notice a few things where it's like a little small in a sense. I start to notice that a little bit where it's like, oh yeah, it's like just a drive to the next town is sort of across the island. Sometimes, like like when we do like our trip over to Kahului, it's like it doesn't seem like it's a road trip through like a big separate place.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about? Like, it seems like the trip from Corvallis to Portland is obviously like a much bigger trip.
Yeah, it's like twice as long.
Yeah, so it kind of seems like Corvallis to Eugene or something like that. It's just, or even less.
Yeah, it's about,
really.
It's like 45 minutes or something. It's only like 28 miles, I think, from where we live.
Wow, yeah. Yeah, that's like not very big.
Not big at all. Yeah, sort of like you were saying earlier. Oh, wow, I just saw a shooting star behind you.
What? What?
Whoa.
Is that
And
a blinker?
like a satellite.
Yeah, did you see that?
I saw that. There was also a shooting
Ooh.
star, like, sort of down and to the left of that.
Ooh.
What is that blinking
Isn't that
thing?
cool? These are the most fun. I love these satellites. They're super cool. It's like, so imagine a satellite that has 2 mirrors on it, and then it's spinning pretty slowly. And as it spins, at one point, it's gonna blip where the sun's light is,
Yeah.
and it's gonna reflect that at us in a pretty directed way. And so what we're seeing when it blips like that is as it rolls around, those solar panels that are on the side of it to collect energy to keep it powered, spin around and then flare the sun on them for just a second, and then it shines out on us. But yeah, you see these like little blinker satellites that go through, sometimes confused to be UFOs. Which seem like UFOs,
I can see
right?
that.
Yeah. I was pretty confused for a long time, and they're sort of like I don't know, they're just not observed as often, or like it's just like a weird thing to see. It doesn't look like a lot of the other satellites that you would spot in the sky. And it really, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong in my my observation of it, but I'm pretty sure it's it's like a smaller or a larger, I don't know, but like a satellite going through that's sort of rolling over kind of slowly. And then reflecting the sun's light back at us to where we are on the dark side of the Earth. But up there, so high, it's still in daylight, which is pretty cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah, but that's cool. You saw a shooting star too. That was neat.
Yeah, like right over here by
Mars?
by Mars.
Ooh,
Yeah, just over from it.
that's cool.
Is there's the Orionid meteor shower
Yeah,
happening?
yeah. It's probably still
I
remnants
think
from that.
that it's like sort of just finishing up. I think that it was. I wish I could remember the dates exactly. I think that it was from like the 17th perhaps to the 29th.
Wow.
Is sort of when you would see it. There was like the
Yeah.
21st and the 22nd, I think, were the days that it was peaking.
Wow.
And you would really see it. But I think that I had read I think it was the 17th, but I might be wrong on that. But I think I read something around the 17th to
Yeah.
the 29th is when there would be things happening still. So I wonder if that's related.
I hope so. I think it is.
Cool view out here, though.
I'm sure, yeah. Yeah, it's starting to get nicer. It was
see
like a
the-
little bit misty for a few. Oop, yeah, it's cool. You can
It's
see some
clearing
of
out
the
a bit.
Milky Way stuff. Up
I
here.
was noticing I can see the Milky Way better than the last time we were up here. It was pretty cloudy when we were up here the other week doing our night sky episode.
I was thinking there too.
Oh,
Yeah,
we have
it was-
another car coming up.
Ooh, zoom. So, for photo stuff that we want to wrap up, what else have we been up to, Marina? Most of it's been kind of moving to Hawaii, getting used to our new jobs and stuff, and getting into photography stuff here. I'm trying to make some...
Choking on mosquitoes over here.
But yeah, most of what we've been trying... Yeah, I'm still dealing with that thing. But most of what we've been trying to do is, start up our new jobs, get into stuff, get used to our new cameras. So here's the big thing that we've done that we haven't talked about on the podcast is I sold off the Sony equipment that I had, and I'm not working with that anymore. And then Marina and I both got 5D Mark IIIs and 24 to 70 2.8 lenses, so we can kind of invest in and do a bunch of the portrait work that we're trying to do while we're here in Hawaii, or portrait, family, wedding sort of photo stuff that we have an opportunity to do over here with our jobs while we're here on the island of Maui. And so yeah, it was kind of fun. It was exciting to try and do that change out pretty quickly. So I sold a bunch of the camera stuff online that we had. And then what did we try to do? We found a few on Facebook Marketplace.
We did.
We found the
Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist were the two locations that we got our bodies and lenses.
So what we were able to do is find a couple pieces, I guess, separate from each other. So we found the 5D Mark III body. We found one over in Bend that had been hardly used, which was really cool. It had been used for, I think, like one set of projects for someone's like professional YouTube page marketing. It was I think, built to make like a video series on some topic, is what I was explained, and it was just built to do like video stuff. And then after they had used it, they wanted to sell it, and they'd had it, I think, sitting for like maybe 6 or 7 months, and so they were trying to liquidate it. We got a great deal on it. That same day, we were able to find from another seller a 24-70 2.8 lens that was in really nice condition that you got, that we were able to buy, that had been hardly used. It was excellent that we were able to find something that was like so low usage and for such like a good value too.
Yeah, it was
really
fantastic.
Yeah, I was really happy we got to do that.
It looks new.
It does.
It was
look
very
new.
cool. It was in extremely nice shape. It was very well taken care of.
Yeah, I was surprised by that too. And then that same week we were looking around, and I think we again used the Facebook Marketplace to find one up in the Portland area that was used for like a real estate photographer, maybe, or it was like for a real estate agent who needed a camera to take photographs of some of their real estate they were selling. But they had hardly used it, and I think they had switched over to doing it with some other equipment setup. So they were trying to sell their 5D Mark III. So we were able to find a great deal on that also, and that had been hardly used. Like it didn't really even have scuffs on the base of it. It was really cool to find something that, you know, was just in such new quality. When I looked at the frame count, I think it had like 1,500. Get that right, like 1,500 shutter actuations on it. Like that's I think what
like
I might have taken a
new.
day. Yeah, yeah, like that's
that's like practically not used.
yeah, that's a couple photo shoots. That's like a week of work for something maybe that we're doing. So that's really cool that we got something that was so fresh and really new like that. And then additionally to that, we found someone in the Portland area who had a 24-70 2.8 USM2 lens that had been, I think, used quite a bit more than that first lens that we had found, but it is like the version, or it's like a little newer maybe, but we found a great deal on it too, and it seems to be in pretty good condition. I think it was used by a wedding photographer for maybe a year, maybe 2 years, and then they decided to sell it, so I'm sure that it had been in high rotation as like a lens that they use frequently. And then I think we bought it from the second owner, so now we're probably the third owner of it. Seems like a great lens. It's been on my camera for a few weeks now. Been shooting with it most days, and I'm pretty happy with it. It seems like it's fast and it's sharp, and I'm really happy to have the flexibility of 24-70 at 2.8, just like an L glass lens. I'd never really been able to work with like a full frame higher end Canon system before, so I'm having a really good time doing that now. I think like in the past when I did river photography stuff, I had way back in the day a 20D. I'm trying to get my numbers and letters right. Nikon is like a D80 or a D800 or something like that. Canon is the number first, then the D. Like a 1DX or a 5D Mark III or a what are the other? I don't know. Like a 6D is like the crop sensor one, or maybe it's I don't know what it is. There's a 6D out there also, but yeah. And then way back I had used I think a 20D and a 30D back when I was doing some river photography stuff way back, and yeah, those were. And then I think while I was at work, I was using like a 7D for a while and a 60D. Yeah, so I guess I've definitely been around some Canon stuff for a while, and I kind of used it in a professional setting, but this is really cool kind of getting it's just a different level. I get the 5D Mark II, Mark III, Mark IV line now, and then it's like the 1DX level, which is still something I'm not really familiar with. But yeah, it's definitely like a different level working with the full frame system and an L glass. I think it's pretty cool getting to do some photos and some portraits and stuff with it.
Me too. I've really enjoyed it. My only other experience with Canon had been when I assisted a fashion photographer who had a 5D Mark II and I only got to use that on a couple shoots, so it was a very minimal experience with Canon stuff. So it's been really cool getting to have this really professional setup that is Canon model stuff.
Yeah, I'm having a good time with it.
I've liked getting to experience so many cameras. It was cool, doing Nikon stuff for a long time.
Yeah.
And getting to use such a wide variety of Nikon cameras. And then switching over to Sony stuff for a while was really cool too. I liked that experience a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm also really happy to be moved on from it also and be set up with this great Canon stuff.
We talked about the Sony stuff a few times before. This review of Sony mirrorless stuff is dated to the specific camera, I guess, that is in question, which was the Sony A7R, the original model Sony A7R, not the Sony A7R II or III or A9. But something I'm really noticing, though, is that, that A7R had some problems with it, and I'm sure that's what was addressed most specifically in the A7 II, and now then the A7 III. And there's just a few parts of it that didn't really come together as well as I needed them to for like a tool that I would use professionally all the time. But I really did enjoy it. Like the sensor really made images look nicer than even the other full frame camera systems that we had used before. Like even the D3, which I love, and like really like even as I'm shooting with the Canon stuff now, I do miss, not because it's better necessarily, but like just because my muscle memory is trained for Nikon, I do miss like the Nikon full body camera controls that I had on the D3, because I was just so used to it. Like you just grab not look at it, roll this style, then you're set. And now I'm kind of relearning that and sort of restructuring that. Hey, car, we got one more coming by. But yeah, so it's kind of interesting getting used to. I bet I'll probably figure out a lot of stuff. But yeah, I've learned like a ton of stuff just in the last 2 weeks about what I need to do and sort of like how it works, or like what all the different buttons do, what the different modes and stuff do. And there's a lot of features in the 5D Mark III that are pretty cool to get into, that you can definitely take to like a professional level that I wasn't really familiar with before with some of the other cameras. So it's cool. I'm having a good time shooting with it and making a bunch of stuff. It's a fun Maui camera, and it's a fun camera to be working with too. I'm really happy that we have a good setup for us here on the island.
Me too. I'm really happy with it, and I know what you mean about that full body camera setup. I like that a lot too. Yeah. Though it is nice for the kind of work that we're doing to have a lighter body.
Yeah. I miss prime lenses a little bit too. Oh, me too. Yeah, there's a few advantages about that I really did enjoy, and I want to try and expand what we have here, like to a 50 millimeter f1.4 at the minimum, I guess. But I really want to try and have some stuff like that. I really enjoyed shooting landscape images with prime lenses. Mm-hmm. And I know they're not as flexible in a lot of ways, and so there's probably plenty of reasons that you could do any number of things you feel comfortable with as a photographer. But I just really like the way that sort of worked out for me a lot of the time, where I like kind of being able to sort of move with my feet and focus on different things, and or focus my attention on different things outside of what focal length I had to decide on. So yeah, it was cool. It's fun kind of adjusting to it, but I'm really happy having a 24-70. I think that's kind of, at least at the minimum, that's what we need. I want to move soon to adding to our collection a 70-200.
Oh, me too. I want a telephoto very, very much.
Yeah, I really want to try and get into
I miss having that.
Yeah, I want to try and get into a nice telephoto that we can use for our Canon cameras that we can, I'm sure, do a ton of stuff out here with. I mean,
absolutely.
Gosh, yeah, I'm sure there's probably no limit with that, but so it's cool overall that we've got these Canon cameras and that we're up and running in Maui, and that we are working in photography jobs, and we're kind of getting used to the island. We're building a lot of stuff for our portfolio, so that's a really cool part of it, is that we enjoyed Oregon a ton, and it was really cool being there, and we'll, I'm sure, be back someday. But for now, it's really cool kind of seeing a different area and sort of a totally different type of troposphere and landscape environment. So we're able to do a lot of stuff with the beach, with the tropical environment, with the mountains and stuff that are here. So it's really fun and exciting to have all these new opportunities to take different photos. Yeah,
I appreciate this experience a lot. It's very cool getting to be in an area where we get to create a new set of type of work.
Yeah, I'm really happy that we get to do that too. So Well, I appreciate everybody tuning in to listen to this Maui update for the Billy Newman Photo Podcast. And I guess I would say we're signing off now. Thanks for talking with me out here for a while, Marina.
Thanks, Billy. I like your new podcasting spot.
Yeah,
it's pretty fun.
Cool. I like being out here too. It's actually kind of fun, and it's sort of comfortable talking out here too. It's a nice way to spend our evenings. So, on behalf of Marina Hanson, my name is Billy Newman, and thank you very much for listening to this episode of the Billy Newman Photo Podcast.